I think this is my favorite of all of the preemie outfits. I just think it's absolutely adorable. But yeah, I made all of these things a long time ago. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Melinda, plain and simple. I just wanted to pop in and give you an update on what's going on with the dolls that I had in my doom room. Oh, it's another kind of baby doll. Because as you know, if you've been watching my channel and you watched that series, you know I had a whole bunch of baby dolls and Cabbage Patch dolls. I'm going to keep my first one. And the rest of them, I'm ready to let them go. And I was trying to decide what to do with them. But I'm not going to stick them in the driveway. Well, I've made my decision. I know what I'm going to do with them. And some of them are getting ready to, well, they've already done it. I'm doing this intro after the fact, so they've already moved on to their new home. These two lucky little Cabbage Patch Kids are about to find a new home where they will be played with and loved by little children, except for one of them. This little cutie right here, and you'll see her in the video too, but she is getting a new home as well. And I have a whole bin of toys for my sister-in-law to go through. I will tell you that this video, while I did plan to give you an update on what was going on with the dolls, this video did not go as I expected, and it kind of just organically developed. So you'll see when you get into it, and I apologize up front because I was just so excited, and you'll probably hear it in the video, but yeah, it was just very organic, very ad-lib. There was no plan. It was just in the moment. My sister-in-law has come into town, and she is going to take some of these babies with her. So she's going to explain what her thinking is, because my sister-in-law is one of those natural declutterers, and she's giving me a little bit of the benefit of her wisdom today. Grandma wisdom for decluttering. Here you go.
Thank you, Melinda. Hi, my name's Susan, and the reason I feel so happy that Melinda's letting me pick, and I'm not going to a grocery store or a garage sale or a thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
So happy, and she will explain later where all this came from. But my choosing of items are based off of what I need. So I have a new home that I designated one bedroom with both their bedding, and the two girls, 2 and 5, are perfect ages for all these things. So Melinda, happily I get to choose from, like, going to Christmas shopping, the 2 bags because I'm going to fit hopefully all the babies in. This because Melinda made it. Oh, that's awesome. One baby looks brand new. This outfit, because Melinda made this outfit, and the little girls will love it. A baby with a pacifier, and a girl and a boy. This is plenty for my 2 granddaughters that I can fit in my closet in one basket. And I'll talk about this just in a second. Other than now scan Melinda across all that I had to choose from. I didn't need that, so I didn't want to take it, although the choices were hard. Like, look over there at that adorable Cabbage Patch that's the red with the 2.
Yes.
So my mind wanted to take that, but the realistic thing, it didn't fit into my space. So that's really all. And then this is the extra bonus things to where the girls will both be surprised. They do get jealous of one another, so this will be wonderful that they don't have to make, this one's mine and that one's yours. They both will, and I'll fill it full of stuff next Christmas. But it's going to go in my Christmas storage, and I'll forget it, and then when it comes out, I'll go, oh, look, it's brand new. And it cost me nothing.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Susan didn't want to be on camera, but she very sweetly agreed to explain her grandma thinking.
My grandma
her
isn't.
grandma isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But she has always, she's been my sister-in-law. How many years y'all been married now? Do you remember? Anyway, a long time. She'd been my
time.
sister-in-law like for many, many years, and so
I was just a baby myself.
Yeah, and so she's always been one to be able to go, I don't need that. I'm not using it. It's gone. And in my house, it was like, we can use that for something. So I'm only just now learning that. And so I was so happy today when she was going to stop by and take these and give them a new home. Because, you know, if you've been watching my channel, you know that this was like one of those things. Most stuff, I don't care. I'll just get rid of it. But this, they needed. I needed to know, excuse me, where they were going.
I was going to say, for me, it gives purpose.
Yeah.
This is going to get played with. This is going to get played with. This is going to get played with.
And I needed to know they were going to go where I wanted them to go. And I didn't want to sell them. I wanted to give them to someone who would have children who would play with them. So this is for me. Absolute perfection. And I got to see my brother and my sister-in-law today, and I have not seen them for 2 years?
Since COVID.
I've not seen them.
Prior
COVID.
So
I'm so excited because this is just absolute perfection. And she's also like really good at what she does. So I've been kind of like, tell me some of your wisdom, Susan.
Well, and just to go on to part 2, stay tuned. These aren't going to be thrown away.
Oh, no.
They're not going to be sold. No. But she's going to surprise you in another, whatever you call this episode. This will be just as much fun. But it explains how you declutter, which is what you're doing.
Yes, and I wanted you to know, like if you have someone in your family, in your life, a friend or something, who is a natural declutterer, they know how to do it. If you're watching this, it's probably because you either like decluttering channels, and you want to understand people who don't know how to do it, or you're trying to figure out how to do it. And if you are trying to figure out how to do it, and you've got somebody in your life, Susan doesn't live close enough to me for me to get her wisdom all the time. And so I'm taking full advantage today. I'm like, Susan, please be on my channel, please. And so she did. She didn't make me beg her. No, she very sweetly did it. And she's like pretty good, so I don't know. She might have to have a channel of her own.
No, that's not my thing. But
thank you, Susan. I'm not going to show you, but I want to thank you.
Don't give up because there's more to come on that.
Exactly. They will find children to play with. Because that's what they should be doing. They should be playing with children, making children laugh and giggle.
Instead of like that right there.
Instead of in a box. And so that's why those didn't just get gone out of this room when everything else did. Because these actually do have a destination. I have figured out where all of this is going to go. But I wanted my sister-in-law to have first dibbies for her grandbabies. Because they are absolutely adorable and I love them. Love you. Can I say their names?
Oh, sure.
Ruby Ella, and Laura Bell. My baby girls. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Susan got everything packed into these 2 gift bags. This is also part of what I am decluttering from my house because we have way too many gift bags, but hubby doesn't want to let go of stuff, and this is how I do that because it's like I make a way. And so this is going. It's only 2, but hey. And she managed to get all of the stuff into these 2 gift bags. And she's going to be taking these home, putting them in their places. She'll save these for Christmas. And she'll also reuse these gift bags. So nothing's going to go to waste. And when she's done, what was it you said, Susan? When your grandbabies outgrow this stuff, what's going to happen?
I will give my grandbabies the choice. If they want to take it home, they can take it home. Mm-hmm. If they keep it there for the next time visit, they will play with it. And once they're done playing with it, if it is in good shape still, I will pass it on.
Yes. So she's not going to keep it forever just because, you know, like that's what I did.
No, I won't do that.
And she's not going to do it. See, all of this stuff, I bought all of this stuff for my nieces when they were little to play with.
And it didn't get played with.
And it didn't get played. Well, some of it got played with, but not very much. And the Cabbage Patch Babies were mine, though. They didn't play with those. But, yeah, they don't want it. And so now, next generation's around via my brother and his wife, and they got grandbabies, and yay! So, but what they do with it after this, that's fine. I don't care. It's fine. They can let it go, and that's what you got to learn to do. Just let it go. Once it's gone, don't worry about it. Just let it go.
With a smile on your face.
Exactly. And love in your heart, and bless these little babies. Mm-hmm. They got little babies going to play with them now. I'm so happy. Thank you, Susan. So now I will put away all of the things that my sister-in-law decided not to take. There were a few things that she had in her pile, and she was considering taking them, but then she decided not to because she only has a certain amount of space available, and she doesn't want to have too much for the granddaughters to play with. So the things that she had in her pile, she made decisions on, and basically she decluttered out of the pile she was going to take. She didn't take it all. She put it back in the other pile before she packed her bags. So that's another thing that we want to learn from those people. It's like if you've got a bunch of stuff and you're thinking, well, I love all this stuff, I like all this stuff, I could use all this stuff, it's so cute, but that doesn't mean you need to take it all. So consider the space that you have available and only take what will work. You don't need to have a ton of toys for the kids.
When my sister-in-law got home, she took some pictures of the room she has set up for her granddaughters. And she also called and gave me some tips to go along with the pictures for me to pass along to you. The first tip was that too many toys can be overwhelming, both for the child and for you. And she also suggested that you have just a few books in a basket or on a shelf in the room so that when it's bedtime and time for a story, it's not overwhelming for the child or the parent. They don't have a ton of books to choose from. She also said she includes a few seasonal books. For instance, at Christmas, she'll have some Christmas-themed books included in the basket. Or at Easter, she'll have some Easter-themed books included in the basket. Or for summer, there might be some summer-type books in the basket. So it gives the child a few books, but not an overwhelming amount of books. She also suggested that you have just a few age-appropriate games. And as your children get older and the younger age games are no longer appropriate for them, you can declutter those games. She also suggested that you keep the toys in containers and that you don't put more toys in the containers than they can hold. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Kind of like Dana K. White's container method. But this is just how my sister-in-law naturally does it. She's probably never even heard of Dana K. White. Her next suggestion was to keep the choices simple for the kids, meaning don't have so many toys that the kids are overwhelmed. When they just have a few things to choose from, they can make a choice. But when they have so many options, it kind of messes with their brains and they just can't figure out how to make a choice. And what will happen is they'll end up pulling everything out. And you don't want that. You want them to be able to make a choice and play with the toy and enjoy themselves and not be overwhelmed. And that goes along with the next suggestion. You want to keep it so that it's easy to clean up for you and also for them. Because if they're old enough to help out with the cleaning up, you want them to be able to do that without being stressed. And you also want it to be so that if you're the one doing the cleaning up, it's not more than you can handle. So you can kind of gauge how many toys you want to have based on how much you can handle. How much time do you want to spend picking up toys if all of the toys got pulled out? If you don't want to spend an hour picking up toys, you don't want to have an hour's worth of toys to pick up. So just keep a few and keep it within what you can manage if you're the one who ends up having to pick them all up.
Well, happy news for this little girl. It appears that she is going to have a new home as well. My sister-in-law called me after they got home. They had an unexpected visit from their granddaughters and their daughter and son-in-law, and the little one, Laura Bell. She's 2 years old, and she insisted on taking the baby doll, the one with the pink and white hat. She insisted on taking that home with her. So, and both the girls seem to prefer the preemie and the baby doll over the Cabbage Patch Kid size. So Susan asked me to send her another preemie so that when they come back to visit again, both girls will have a little preemie baby doll to play with. And she also wanted the Afghan because both of the girls enjoyed wrapping their baby dolls up in the pink Afghan that she took. So it was all a success, but we're already one baby gone. So we're going to have a replacement. So that's 5 of my baby dolls now that have a new home. And while Laura had no interest whatsoever in taking off that baby doll's clothes or changing the clothes or anything, Ruby, who was 5, was interested in changing the clothes. And they had the one little dress that Susan chose to take, and she wanted to change the clothes, but Laura didn't want her to. So now they'll both have a preemie they can play with. And Susan asked, I sent pictures of all of these clothes to her because I didn't realize these were in a bag in the bottom of the bin. So she didn't even see these. So she said, yes, because Ruby was enjoying changing the baby doll clothes. Yes, she wanted me to send all of these. And so now Ruby will get to play with all of these clothes. And when Laura gets old enough that she is interested in it, they'll have plenty of clothes that they can share for their little preemie baby dolls. And as far as the little sleeper bags, Susan thought they were adorable, but since the girls will each have an Afghan with their little baby dolls to play with, she decided that she did not need to have these as well. I suggested to Susan that maybe she could find one of those little suitcase things like what I use for my basic sewing kit, if you've seen that video. And that way all the stuff can be kept together and not strewn all over the place, and the girls can learn to get it out and also to put it away before they leave. And they can enjoy the stuff when they come to visit Grandma, but they can also learn to put their things away so Grandma doesn't have to do all the work herself. Before I close this video out, I want to say a big thank you once again to my sister-in-law Susan. She was so kind and generous to just in the moment agree to talk about what her thinking process was when deciding which things to take home with her, so that there would be something there for her grandkids to play with when they come to her house. And there was no planning. I mean, she said something and I said, hey, can you say that for me? Because I was trying to remember everything and I wanted to get it right. And just in the moment I was thinking that would be so much better if she said it rather than me trying to relay it. And I wasn't expecting her to say yes, but she said sure. So, but she didn't want to be on camera. So I'm like, okay, you don't have to be on camera. I'll just film the stuff like I normally do. And she just went right into it. So it worked out pretty well. It was totally impromptu. I mean, I knew she was coming. I didn't know my brother was coming, so that was kind of exciting. Getting to see my brother after all that time, and my sister-in-law. But honestly, I spent more time with my sister-in-law because we were in here doing this. But, you know, that's okay. I'll catch him next time. But yeah, it was very impromptu. But I totally appreciated it because while I called it Grandma Wisdom for Decluttering, I noticed in the video, she was actually choosing what to take into her home. But part of the whole process of what we learn as we declutter is not just how to let go of things, but how to think about it when we're bringing stuff into our home to begin with. And so even though it was her choosing what to take, it's also part of what she needs to do in order to not have so much down the road to declutter, if that makes sense. So for those of us who are just on this journey, that's important for us to do as well. Like, since I've been decluttering, I have brought very few items into my home. I've gotten rid of a lot, but I've brought very few items into my home. And one of the reasons is because I don't want anything more that I'm going to have to deal with and declutter down the road. So I'm very particular about what I bring into my home now. I think it through a lot more before I bring something into my home. And I think that people who are natural declutterers, probably they just naturally do that as well. So even though it's about decluttering, I'm the one that's decluttering. But I wanted to have the insight from a person who is a natural declutterer, because a natural declutterer is going to make very they're going to think through the things that they bring into their home. In addition to sharing her expertise, my sister-in-law ended up taking enough stuff that I was able to empty out a whole bin of toys. So that bin will be removed from the spare bedroom. And by the way, the little baby doll and the clothes that I mailed to my sister-in-law after Laura decided she was going to take one of the babies home with her, that little baby has arrived safely, and the little girls will be coming to visit Grandma and Grandpa for Easter this weekend, and they are going to be surprised when they find what Grandma has waiting for them this time. And I also want to let you know, I do have a place that I am going to take my other baby dolls, but it won't be till around the end of June, and after that, I'll give you an update on those items. That'll be even more of the bins out of this spare bedroom. And for those of you who have watched the video to this point, thank you. I appreciate it. And let me know in the comments if this was helpful to you in any way. I know for me, I like to hear how people are thinking when they're decluttering, but I also like to hear how they're thinking when they're making choices for what to bring into their homes in the first place. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Meanwhile, happy decluttering!
All these dollies need a home where children love to play, so they can give out joy and hugs each and every day. For far too long, they've been inside of dusty storage bins, hoping someday they could be a child's bestest friend. Each should go where they'll be loved and feel that special bond that only child and dolly feel till innocence is gone. And when they've served their purpose there, another child will be, full of love and giggles for each dolly I've set free.
Oh, I'll see you next week for my basement or garage. I actually haven't started it yet. And yes, I have been procrastinating. I have been doing that because I don't know, it's going to be a big ugly job, and yeah, but I can't procrastinate anymore because I'm going to put this one in on my Friday, and the next Friday I don't have anything to put in there, so I have to get going, right? Happy decluttering!